All right, everyone. Welcome back once again to this Beefcast presentation. As always, I'm your casting host, and once again, joining me is Snow, Shay. Last semifinal here. Excited?
Yeah, it's about to get real.
It's about to get real. Right now, we have one Zerg confirmed to the finals. His opponent is going to be the Protoss or the Terran, one of each race left right here. Who do you think is going to be bringing it home and pushing it into the finals?
Well, I'm going to give the odds to the Terran because I'm extremely biased.
Well, with that extreme bias, why don't you go ahead and introduce our Terran player?
Our Terran player, who is spawning in the top right wearing the green trunks, is BestWorld.
BestWorld's going to be taking on his opponent here in the bottom right-hand corner of TSL4 Entombed Valley. He's Medke. And so BestWorld's making his way here through a TVT, whereas Medke came in through a PvP, was it not?
Yes.
Yeah, so we get to see each of these players taking on a different race this time. I'm excited to see that, and then get to see them both take on a different race in Zerg for the finals. So we got a very nice semifinals and finals set up here. I'd like to see how this first game plays out here on Entombed Valley, though. A very fun map to watch a PvT on. This is a map where some of the best PvTs ever have been played. Some of the games between the likes of, MKP and Parting. Some of the games between Nest-T and MVP. Just some absolutely incredible games to begin with. One of my personal favorite series was actually going to be Hero versus, oh my god, I can't think of his name, Muslim right now. I believe that was at an Asus ROG earlier this year. That was a really cool series that did go on this map. And so this is actually going to be a really fun game. I'm looking forward to it quite a bit. Right now, we do have just a completely normal build coming out of Medke. This is the same build that I believe he used in his last game as well. Gas Steel even going to go down.
I saw the gas steal last time as well for Medke.
Yeah, we did. So maybe did Medke come through a PvP, or was it versus Terran? I can't recall. Who knows?
I think that Medke beat Dark Shadow.
I think you might be right.
Yes, he beat Dark Shadow.
I think you might be right. So anyway, Probe did get in there, steals the gas, and is able to get a little bit of a scout off right here. Did see the tech lab coming up here for the barracks, and coming out of that barracks with the tech lab is going to be a Reaper. So Shay, what do you think about the possibility of Reaper play here on Entombed Valley?
Well, I mean, it's an exciting possibility, but he's already got Stalkers out, so I'm not loving the Reaper's chances right now.
Yeah, I think that the Reaper, like you said, it's not going to be able to get in there and do a whole lot of work in terms of economic harass, but I think it's going to be able to get in there and at least get an effective scout. It's going to take 2 or 3 shots for that Stalker to go ahead and kill it. So it might be able to get up there from the natural and be able to get a couple shots off. We'll see. Marauder is going to be the follow-up here. In addition to...
already being researched.
Yeah. A lot of players today either forgetting or just choosing not to go with concussive shells, whereas this player is going to go ahead and say, forget that. I like concussive shells too much. Reaper going to be putting a lot of damage here into some probes and forcing a lot of other probes off of the mineral line right now, taking out 2 probes as well, and even going to get a full scout on the base before the Stalker does go ahead and take him out. Going to go ahead and see that there are, in fact, a few gateways. Let's see how many he did see. Yeah, 3 gateways in total being scouted right here with Warp Gate finishing up. This could be some very early 3-gate pressure out of Medke. This was actually something that, you're right, this was, he did play against Dark Shadow, because the second game he pushed up past the bunkers.
Right.
And with the 3 or 4-gate pressure, whatever that was. So, it's going to be a very similar build here. Twilight Council going to be the follow-up as well for Medke. Could be going into something like DTs, knowing that he's already on those double gases right now. DT follow-up, very, very possible. Or it could be even rushing early Templar. Concussive Shell showing itself there as the Marauder does make its way up the ramp, and it is repelled by a very solid bunker wall-off. Command center on the high ground being built, in addition to an engineering bay already coming down, possibly going to be starting very early upgrades, although a factory goes down as well. So I think that BestWorld will probably be in a pretty good position to deal with whatever comes his way, although it is a Templar Archives. So the scan goes down. BestWorld showing us his excitement there as he catches that Templar Archives at the perfect moment. So do you think that Charizard Archon is a possibility here?
Well, nothing is now. It was canceled.
Yeah, showing that his read was in fact red there, or his play was red there. He's going to be going into a Robo with 4 gates. So I think that this could be a 4-gate Warp Prism play. That's kind of what I'm getting out of this right now, although the possibility for a transition into 2 base, no, okay, this could be actually a 4-gate Blink Observer build. So we'll see.
Nice. Sentry in there now as well.
There's a lot of weird stuff that could happen with this build. I'm really interested to see how this goes out, or if Medke is going to be looking to possibly take a his natural here relatively soon. We'll see right away with the first unit coming out of this Robo facility what he does in fact plan on going. But with that sentry coming out, he does have the possibility to try to defend up and take his natural.
Tried to push up in the bay just to see with the stalker there, and it was cut down and repelled thanks solely to concussive shell, which slowed it. So to those who don't like to get it, keep that sort of thing in mind.
Yeah. Observer going to be making its way across the map right now as Blink research is about 3/4 of the way done. So once that observer gets in there, he's going to be able to get a read for what his opponent is doing, and he might be able to make a better decision from there. But the next is actually going to be coming down right now as well. So Blink, being the method of choice here, this is actually a great map for Blink. Entombed Valley is actually just pretty fantastic for being able to blink up and down these cliffs, being able to get the observer into range over here. Although there is actually a missile turret already there that's going to spot the observer, and the observer goes down. That's actually really unfortunate. He wanted to make the blink play right then and right there, and without that observer, he's not able to blink up that ramp for the time being, and he's forced to make a second observer now, and his opponent's going to be able to shore up his defenses even better.
Well, because BestWorld actually dropped a scan on the expansion ridge area there in the main base of Medke, and he might have actually caught the observer as it was flying out. I didn't see that.
Yeah, and so a robotics bay going to be coming down now, as we have quite a bit of tech off of just one base right now with the Robo Bay, the Robo Facility, and the Twilight Council, in addition to the 4 gates. A lot of tech off of just one base right now. The second next is going to be coming down, and a few probes starting to make their way down there as well. Worth noting that the command center on the low ground over here has not been morphed into a orbital command for the time being. Is there any reason that you can think of that, or is that just an oversight?
I have to think that's an oversight. There's no reason not to do it.
All right. Protoss trying to dodge with his observer there. His turn is going to drop a couple of scans, looking for a bit of a window to take out that observer. Starport going to be coming down to accompany the rest of the Terran Tech buildings. Probably start medevac production here very soon. Observer going to try to poke up once again. Has to be very careful, as that turret could be looking its way very quickly. The observer is going to try to, the stalker is going to try to draw a few of the forces over here so that he can get into a better position with a big blink up here. And that one stalker does in fact blink back down, with blink finally being revealed there. Something that the Terran player might have expected already.
Well, I think he had to know he had blinked to get up there in the first place.
Yeah. One siege tank finally going to make its way over right now and take a big shot into some of those stalkers. And the stalker's actually going to move back in and finally back away. So the stalker is not going to be able to be the effective choice right now with that tank in position, and all of a sudden going from a very effective choice on Entombed Valley to not so effective. Their efficacy over here on the third significantly less than on the natural. So with that tank in position, we're going to be looking for a little bit of a transition here, and the transition will be the Colossi. The robotics bay that he dropped a little bit earlier does start researching extended thermal lance, and with the Colossi in production, this could be something like a 2-base Colossus timing. 2 Colossi with extended thermal lance will be very effective at dealing with some of those siege tanks and being able to bust down the front door of the Terran. Much less mobile army is actually forced to siege up the natural right now, as the main forces are going to finally start moving into the natural over here. and the probes are forced to withdraw. But with a few sentries on the ramp and that Colossus with extended thermal lance here in about 10 seconds, the Protoss player looks to be in a pretty good position as long as he lands these force fields to go ahead and hold that ramp indefinitely. So the Terran player
There's no stim here either. There's no stim on these bio to try to rush in, or he's actually being allowed in now. So
yeah, the force field was not there in place. The Colossus does go down, and now the Protoss player is actually in an awful position. Losing that one force field there is so unfortunate. The Blink Stalkers are in his opponent's base, still wreaking havoc right now, but it's just not going to happen. The Terran player has the ability to lift off his units, as he's already lifted off one command center there and started making his way out of there. Vikings even being landed to increase the DPS right now for the Protoss player, and a little bit unfortunate. If he had just kept those force fields coming for a little while longer, the possibility of maybe being able to hold that off with those couple Colossi was certainly there, but not landing that one force field proving to be so crucial in this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with the Protoss player not rebuilding their base just yet, they're starting to be revealed as probes do make their way across the map right now. Observer's still not really doing a whole lot, just kind of hanging out for the time being, as these couple of Stalkers are still trying to whittle away at the Terran base, whereas the Terran army is continuing to annihilate the Protoss army. The rebuild base...
What I worry about here is that there's all these Marauders just hanging out at the normal, or the natural they're finally moving now. But those are really your heavy hitters for taking down these buildings, and they're just standing around.
Yeah.
And at this point, even though building-wise the Terran has the edge here, he's still not nearly as mobile as those Blink Stalkers, because he does have no stim or medevac.
That's true, and it actually looks like a couple of these Stalkers might get found here by the Marauders, and unfortunate to lose those Stalkers. At this point, every unit does count, and so the Stalkers do take down one of the command centers over here, but an additional command center has already landed. And the large bank of both these players is going to use making some new buildings. Marauders and Marines are going to find the new base of the Protoss player. A little bit unfortunate that with the 1,400 additional minerals, he didn't plop down some more bases throughout the map. The medevacs did actually spawn that building quite a while ago, and that was the last probes to fall there. As soon as that Nexus does fall, that is going to be GG. And the Blink Stalker is trying to make their way over here right now with the medevacs overhead. There is the possibility that this could be a pretty good fight here. One of the Stalkers doesn't end up falling, and the bio trying to push up a little bit higher, but a nice Blink Micro right now from Medke, and Medke might actually be able to take out a large contingent of this bio with the last couple of medevacs there and a large amount of energy, though. I don't know if the Blink Stalkers really have the ability. Okay, they do have the ability to DPS straight through that. The last Viking is going to fall here, and with that will be a couple of the medevacs. And this game has the potential to keep going a little bit longer, I guess. But the last buildings right now being taken out by BestWorldX, and there's just one last pylon right now.
You're really feeling at this point the brunt not getting stim earlier.
Yeah.
And everyone's defeated.
That's true. So Medke does go ahead and drop game number 1 here. A little bit of a ill-fated base trade. Unfortunate, but BestWorldX playing that very well, trading effectively, and making it into game 2, up 1 game. So, Shay, any final words there before we get on to the next game?
No, I think it's, again, like you said, you've capped it up. It's just a base trade that, don't try to base trade with a Terran if you're not going to use force fields.
That's true. Yeah, those force fields. If he was able to land that, this could have been a very different game. So, unfortunate in that respect, but a good game overall. And we'll see you in